Okay, here we are. Welcome to the first Hacking Uncertainty program. And I'm here to welcome Marjorie de la Cruz and José-María Pimienta. Welcome, guys. First thing I want to do is wish our viewers a happy Thanksgiving, because this is what it is. It's Thanksgiving Day 2020. Now, before we get started, I want to quickly introduce our guests here. Marjorie de la Cruz, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So, hi, I'm Marjorie. Y'all can call me Mari. I'm currently a high school student, and I participated in the Upkeep VIP program. I'm a software developer and also graphic designer, and I plan to start my own little tech company.
Someday, hopefully. Thank you, Marjorie. And José-María, how about yourself?
Hi, Paris. My name is José-María. I'm currently an executive MBA at the IE. And apart of that, I'm working as an independent consultant for renewable energy sector and some other activities. That's myself.
All right, great. All right, well, let's get going. We're going to start with you, Marjorie. Today's topic is obviously hacking uncertainty. This is what this program is all about, and it's hopefully going to give some insights to our viewers in terms of how to deal with uncertainty. So let me ask you, just to get started here, when you are in a situation of uncertainty, what do you feel?
Definitely the normal feelings of anxiety, nervousness, loss of control, and sometimes exhilaration. It's almost exciting to know that I'm not the only one feeling this way. Everyone feels uncertainty, and it's almost a change and shows that I'm doing something and there are things happening, and a chance to fail just means a chance to succeed.
Nice, very nice. Marjorie, you're a Gen Z. You're 15 years old in high school, and I'm sure that sometimes you feel that you're in the wrong place, or maybe, how can I put it? When you look at the generation around you, you're not normal, right?
Yeah,
you're not the average.
I'm a little, I wouldn't say above or below average. I'm just not average. But
yeah,
I think I belong here in a sense, or belong in my generation, in a sense that I can be a different voice for them. I can be a different motivation for them. I can show people that they can do things, and as much as life brings everyone down, that some people can be brought up, and hopefully I'm an example of that. I've been told a lot that I'm an old soul. Like, my favorite genre of music is 50s music. I love dancing around in swing dresses, but I also love my current generation and the things they create, the things they start, and I'm so proud of who my generation is. We've birthed, I guess, some really amazing people, and I see so many going farther than I will. So I'm proud to be here. Proud to be Gen Z, I guess.
I can relate to that a little bit. Most of my students actually say that I'm a millennial trapped in the body of a baby boomer, because I don't like 50s music. I actually like rap, 50 Cent, stuff like that. So I can understand perfectly how you feel. Sometimes I feel out of place with some people around me. So,
Trade?
You know what? I'm happy where I'm at also. I'm actually real happy, and I realize I belong here because my generation also needs this. But let's get back to you. So, what gives you strength? Because for different people, they get strength from different things. For some people, it's their family. Other people, it's a role model. Some people, it's nature from within. For some people, it's God. What is it that gives you strength to get up every morning and feel like, yeah, the world is my oyster?
So, I'd say it all, for the most part, comes from a drive to be the best. I've grown up in an Asian culture, and I've always like been top marks, president of class council, like all those nice titles, and it's only motivated me to keep reaching higher. And some people crumble at the expectations, and I've crumbled at the expectations, but that only makes me even better to just sometimes fall and get back up. And saying like I wake up every day and get like I take on the world is mine. Of course, that doesn't happen every day. Some days I can get out of bed. This morning, I wanted to stay in bed and sleep, but I also remembered that this is such an important opportunity for my growth and to document the person I am right now so that I can look back in 10, 15 years' time when I have a Fortune 500 company and see that I started like this, and this is who I am, and this is who I'll continue to be.
Now, Marjorie, you've had your share of personal struggles, right? So it's 100%. Not like do you want to share anything in terms of, one thing that you told me that, vulnerability makes you strong. Talk to me about that, a little bit about, personal struggles.
Yeah, totally. So I've come to terms with, I guess, not exactly my past, but the things that have happened. And so a few years ago, I got into some situations and it landed me to be placed into therapy, which at the time I thought was the worst thing ever. Why would I want to talk to someone about my problems? And I just thought it was weird and useless, and I don't trust people, so why? But going through that and dealing with the problems I have, I'm really open about this. So I've been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, as I think a lot of well-off business people are, or just intelligent people. And that's really cool. But that's only made me realize that the things I create and the things I do are much more than the world asks of me. And I think that's so cool to know that I'm doing things and I'm making an impact and I'm exceeding expectations. And I think that's a lot of what drives me, just going above and beyond. And I'd say being vulnerable and opening up is so important because everyone wants to be like perfect, white face as in like not trying to, but like completely clear skin, all that. But I think it's so important to show that everyone's a human because the more we drive the narrative that you have to be perfect and you have to be one way and this is the only way you'll be happy is not true. I wake up and I have like eczema all over my face and pimples and I'm a teenager, so that's normal. And I wake up and go, wow, I'm pretty, because that's what I should do. I shouldn't believe that I am less because of how I'm naturally. And I'm kind of straying away from the original question, but I guess I'd say that since I've been able to be so open in 7th grade, if you met me in middle school, I was the most reserved, like hoodie up, hair over my face, looking down at my phone all the time. Like
introvert.
I never introvert. I don't like using the word introvert to describe a personality because, like, for me, introvert and extrovert just means how your social battery plays into you being a person. So I'm a huge introvert. I can talk to people for 6-7 hours and then need to take like a 16-hour nap. Like, it drains me, but it also makes me really happy. And I don't want to shy away from opportunities where I can talk to new people and meet new people because I love talking to people. Talking is really fun. I do a lot of it. And I just think that I was more recluse and shy and really was uncomfortable with my own vulnerability and not ready to show people that I am actually a human.
Right. And that has made you stronger, right?
Yeah, learning to show people that I struggle and that I'm not perfect has made me stronger and has empowered me. I have a lot of friends who struggle with similar things, some people who struggle with things I couldn't imagine, and letting them know that I struggle too makes them realize that we're all just struggling and makes them realize they're not alone. And that empowers me to know that I can have an impact on someone and to know that someone feels more comfortable in the world because of me having a problem. And that's so cool.
Yeah. All right. So I want to bring José-María now with us because I want to talk about. Hi, José-María. No, let's bring Marjorie as well because I want to talk about your project. I know, Marjorie, that you you were involved in the Upkey IE University mini Venture Lab series for Gen Zs, and you had the pleasure, or you're lucky to get as mentor José-María, who's a EMBA at IE. So I want to ask you guys, how was that experience? I mean, José-María, had you been a mentor before to anybody?
To be honest, this was the first time I was mentoring a team. I hope it was not so really noticed at the beginning. But to be honest, I was very lucky to find.
Did you tell them this was your first time? No, you didn't tell them.
So no, but the point is, it was quite an easy job. I was so lucky to find this team and this nice team leader that Mary is, and it was really easy for me to just to try to bring them a little bit on earth, to focus them, and this what I told to them. I told them hundreds of times to please be focused, because when you have a lot of ideas on your mind, when you are young, I'm getting older right now, when you can do, you want to do everything you want to do, but in life, and not only in entrepreneurship, but in life, you have to focus a little bit and to keep your feet on the earth, and work hard to get the first step, and then the second and the third. Don't lose the focus, and keep going. So my task, to be honest, in the mentoring was that easy as just trying to give them a few tips, and giving them focus. That was quite easy.
And Marjorie, were there any awkward moments with your mentor at the beginning?
So I'm a very inquisitive person. I love asking questions. I love knowing why the world is. I really like physics. So when Jose was explaining to me, this is how you should revise your plan, this is more of what investors are looking for, I always was just asking why. Why is this what they want? Why isn't it the other way? And like I could tell anyone probably would get tired of me asking almost the same thing over and over again with different wording. But I think throughout the meetings that we had, he just learned to deal with the millions of questions I always had. And no matter if the questions were so small, he would always answer them in a way that would satisfy me and that I would be able to improve better. So there was no awkward thing per se, but it was more of, I guess, getting introduced to my quirky personality.
Because you're very inquisitive, and that's not normal today to have so much. I mean, someone from your generation to ask so many questions, right?
I think a lot of people don't ask questions, but they have questions. I know a lot of people just in my classes don't know what's going on at all. and that's a reflection of their life. They don't know what they're doing at all, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I like to ask questions and ask, what should I be doing? And a lot of people try and fly blind and try and teach themselves how to do things and live by themselves. And I don't want to live by myself. I want to live with people.
That's a very good point. And I see that also in my class. I just started teaching this year for the first time in IE University, the BBAs, the undergraduates, Gen Zs, because I've been teaching MBAs and millennials for the last 10 years. And I see that everywhere, that, I'm used to people not asking questions when they don't know. When they know. But to not ask questions when you don't know, and I can see that they don't know, and no one's asking questions. So it's a little bit strange for me because, when I did a lot of work pre-COVID in Japan and in Asia, and there people don't ask questions because there's this fear of making mistakes, this fear of loss of face. Do you think that's similar to Gen Zs today?
100%.
Or is it something else?
I think it's not wanting to fail, but it's also not wanting to be the person who didn't know what's going on. So if every single person doesn't know what's going on and no one's saying anything, then one person thinks everyone else knows what's going on because they're not saying anything. So if everyone else understands, I should understand. And by the time they overthink that, we're on to the next topic. So a lot of it is in our heads and thinking that we're only one piece of such a big puzzle. But really, we're a whole puzzle. Everyone's life is a complex puzzle. And a lot of us think that we don't matter as much as we do. And that's really sad. And I mean, in my life, as a Gen Z, I've thought that. I've had so many people talk to me who've thought the same thing. But I think I need, or just people, need to show that Gen Z has a purpose. We're here and we're doing things, and it's hard for us to recognize our accomplishments when there have been so many great people before us. It's so hard to carve something original when it feels like everything in the world has been done. So we think we should stay quiet and keep going through things because we don't want to bother someone, and we don't want people to think that we know less than we do. And it's just all a matter of us psyching ourselves out.
Yeah. All right, Marjorie. Well, I'll come back to you in a few minutes. I'm not going to pick on our millennial here, José-María. Yeah, let's talk about you for a bit here because, wow, I think Marjorie has given us an amazing insight into the Gen Z mindset. But what about the millennial mindset? Why did you decide to do an MBA at IE? I mean, one of the things that I find amazing since I've been teaching at IE in the MBAs is that I think it's like 95% of students doing an MBA at IE, they're looking for a professional change in their life. And when I started and I thought about this, I was like, are these people lost or what? And then I'd hear stories about, like half the class had taken out a loan to do their MBA. And I was like, you mean half the class took a loan to find their professional future? I mean, because they're lost? But then I realized that, you know what? This is amazing. This is a good thing. That you've come to a point in your life that you realize that you need a professional change. Because my generation maybe will spend 30 years figuring out that question, and then it's too late for a lot of people. So what happened to you? What caused you? Right. Tell me about your background. Where were you before the MBA, and what caused you to make this move?
I think it's the key point is when you realize you have been doing many things, many years the same thing, and you look at the end of your professional career and say, hey, I have been, in my case, 12 years doing quite the same things, quite in the same business. I play different roles. But
were you in a big company?
Yeah, I was in a multinational company, a Swiss company, working for inspection, certification, consultancy. I was working for business development in renewable energy. I was working also for in the direction of business units. But when you get at certain age, you realize not only in your professional career, but also in your personal life, you think about getting married or not, having children, and then you say, maybe this is the point I want to change. This is the point I want to modify things, but that's not that easy. The momentum you get, the momentum you have until the certain moment, doesn't allow you to stop, think, and act. I think is the main point. I was at that point a few years ago. I was living at that point in Bilbao, and I said, hey, I want to change. I want to move things. At that time, I moved back to Madrid, where I'm now, and at this point, I had a baby, and I said, hey, this is the point I want to change. Not only in the personal, I started in Spain. It's said the crisis of the 40s. I'm still 39, but I have been suffering this crisis for 5 years already. So that's a point. And then just start doing different things. I restart a hobby I like a lot, is the mountain bike. And I start changing routines. I start changing a lot of things. And at a certain moment, I say, hey, professional life is now or never. If you get to 45 to 50, you don't have a change of direction at that point. So you have to say, hey, I stop here. I had to do something. What better to do an MBA to have an opportunity to discover new different people, new different activities, and to get to have a shower of updating. And then I start the MBA. At the same time, I start working as a freelancer for similar activities I was doing before, but some other activities that, to be honest, I didn't know before starting the MBA. And that's the way of changing. I just feel now much realize that I was feeling before. I think I'm getting motivation every day from the activities I'm doing, and that's the main point. When, as Mary said before, when you wake up and you realize you have a motivation, you have things to do, and because otherwise you just wake up and say, I stay in the bed and I will do nothing. But you need this adrenaline, you need this motivation to keep going.
And tell me, José-María, what when you get up in the morning, what is it that gives you strength? What drives you? What is it that gives you the energy to try to conquer the world every day?
I'm quite a strange person. It's at a certain point. Of course, I have some motivations, personal motivations, family, and these core motivations. But when you are talking about a professional career, the thing, the most motivation I get is from learning. I start new projects not every day. I'd like to start projects every day, but I like to start projects from time to time, learning from scratch, doing new things. And if you face a problem, you face a client, if you face a situation that you think you can afford, even if you don't have 100% the certainty of having the knowledge, having the expertise, having done that before, okay, you are alive, you can learn, you can progress, and you can get adapted to the new situation and the new challenge, and go ahead. So it's the main motivation is to keep learning and don't stop in university, don't stop in the MBA, don't stop in whatever I can do in the future. Just keep learning and keep knowing new things.
So we heard from Marjorie talking about how her generation, and I want to ask some more questions about that because I think it's very important for our viewers here, how different they are to the rest of us. What about millennials? How do you, when you think about your generation, do you think you're at a disadvantage to my generation? Or do you think you have more opportunities? Or do you not think about that?
I think it's useless, to be honest, to think about that. You can be thinking, if I were 50, if I were 30, if I were... It doesn't matter. You have the cards you have, and you have to play the game with the cards you have. Doesn't matter if they could be better, of course. They could be worse. But the only cards you have and the only cards you can play is the one you have. You can choose, play or not to play. So if I prefer to play because the other option is a little bit more boring.
So speaking of cards, because I have this discussion with a lot of people. I was the other day with a Gen Z from the inner city, and he was very depressed. He said, "I have no luck in my life," and I said to him, "Listen, it's not about luck, because personally, I haven't had a lot of luck in my life, but whenever I got some luck, I used it." And then there's an expression that I can't remember who said it. He wrote a book, Good to Great, I think it was. I can't remember the author right now, but he said, and I like this a lot. He said, "Return on luck," which is exactly that. It's what do you do with the luck that you get? Because we all get a certain amount of luck. And I think that's what you're saying, right? Do you consider yourself a lucky person, or do you never think about luck?
It's difficult to evaluate. You can evaluate the return on investment, but the return on luck is you don't have a figure to say I have 3 points, I have 2 points. It's difficult to evaluate this return. But I agree with you. Everybody has a small portion of luck or a big portion of luck. But the key point is not the say I have much or lower luck, but how you take advantage of it. The few opportunities you can have is you can take advantage and progress with this little point of luck will be much better than having a lot of luck and don't take advantage of that. For instance, this is something I always I feel quite proud. Is I like to say in my life I made many decisions. Some of them are important, but the big decisions you make in your life, you have to think about it. You have to evaluate and go for it. You can be lucky or not lucky, but when you decide you are going for something, you evaluate and take a decision. The luck come with you. I think it's the main point. You cannot be waiting for the luck. You have to you have to go ahead and then take advantage. You can pivot a little bit to take advantage of the luck and finally go for it and the luck will come with you with no effort. Just you'll find in your way.
So a final question before we bring Marjorie back. How have you dealt with COVID doing your EMBA? I mean, you wanted some uncertainty when you left your job. You wanted to do your MBA to get some uncertainty in your life, but you get a lot more than you bargained for, right? Yeah. So how do you deal with this?
Yeah, this is a black swan. This is the card. You can get a joker. You can get a pandemic. You can choose. You can choose the joker, but you have this situation. As I said before, you have to take advantage of it. Of course, there are some points that you cannot manage the disease, the sanitary problem. But as far as your life is conditioned by this situation, you have to get adapted. I was in this change of career, and okay, right now I'm working with a company in Italy that probably in other conditions I would have been visiting them for several times. We don't know them face to face so far, but we are still working. We are collaborating, and we are taking advantage of the evolution of this broadcasting and all the tools we have right now that we already had before, but we were not aware of them, and now we are using much more this tool. But just get adapted and go ahead. I think it's the best thing you can do.
Okay, José-María, thank you. All right, so let's bring Marjorie together here, the three of us. Hi, Marjorie. We'll bring back José-María. Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about your project before we go on. I know that as I told the viewers here, that José-María was your mentor, but this project, just to introduce it to the audience, for 3 weeks it was, right, Marjorie? 3 weeks more or less. Students from Upkeep that are the participants, that is a virtual internship, mainly for inner city kids in the U.S., but it's got students from all over the place. They're put together in teams, and then for 3 weeks I accelerate them, where they come up with an idea, and I give them a few lectures. And we do like we do at IE in the 9-week Venture Lab program. We do like a mini version of it, and I'll never forget the day I was asked in class. So how many people can we have in our teams? And I said, well, in IE we usually have 5, maximum of 5 students on a team working on a startup idea. And some students were like, well, can I have 7? And I was like, 7? All right, okay, maybe 7. And then Marjorie raises her hand, and she's like, Professor, I have 12. And I was like, 12? And she goes, yeah, I have 12, and I'm raising my hand because I want 13. So how did you, what does that take? Guts? Or what does that take to get up and do that? Walk me through that, Marjorie.
So I knew that what I was doing was a little big, a little ambitious. To explain my project, essentially, we developed a plan to create robotic household assistants to complete the most common household tasks to allow people to have more time to pursue their passions. And in my head, I was like, that's a big thing. I only have experience in tech, and I don't know anything about finance. I don't know anything about designing tech stuff. So I found some people, and they're like, this is a really cool project. I really want to work on this. And then Paris said we could only have 7 people. And I was like, but that doesn't work. Like, I had a plan.
Right. What's the rule? You probably thought, what's the rule for this, right?
Oh, yeah. I see rules as guidelines for the most part. I see the law as a rule, but I see rules as guidelines. And, of course, I follow them if I'm told to. But if I can challenge them and make it better for me, then why not? I thought I could succeed more with more people, and I feel like I did. If I had 4, 5 people, I don't think I could have gotten as much as I already have. And a lot of those people, around 3/4, maybe a little less, are staying with the project, and we've been working on it. We keep working on it, and I wanted to have these people because I knew from how I interviewed them and talked to them that they would support me making my 10-year-old ambitions come true. So I guess it takes a little confidence, just a little bit, and just knowing that I know that you wanted me to succeed. I know that everyone else wanted me to succeed. So I wasn't afraid to ask for resources to succeed.
Yeah, I always say to my students, not to ask for 12 people for their team, but I always say to my students, there's a Spanish saying, el que no llora, no mama, which means that the baby that doesn't cry doesn't get any milk. And it's true. In life, you have to ask for it. A lot of people are like shy, or they think, as you said, they think it's a rule that can't be changed. So people don't ask. And you'd be surprised if you ask how much you can get. José-María, do you have any experience with that?
Yeah.
You're an asker, right? I can tell you're an asker. You ask a lot, right?
I don't ask that much as Mary asks, but what you were discussing before regarding the people asking or not asking, I think is something also in my generation. It's not only a C generation. People are shy to show the ignorance or the weakness.
Shy.
Yeah, they are shy. Of course, if you don't ask, you will never know. It's talking about the sentence about the idioms in Spanish is something else that you can be shy for one time or 100 times shy to get red in your face. You can be one time saying, "Hey, I don't know this." You have to ask, or just being 100 times thinking, "Oh, hey, what is point? I don't know. I can ask one," and but that's something not only from the C generation, but also in my generation is something quite common. And I got really surprised when I started talking to Mary and the team, because in this venture lab I also participate in the venture lab with you. It's difficult to create a team from scratch. Having a small team, 5-7 people, is difficult to organize. It's difficult to manage. They used to be quite flat, but something that Mary did quite well is to create the pyramid. Of course, you cannot manage a team of 12, 13 if you don't have a team of coordinators that you rely on them, and the job and the activities very well coordinated and distributed. And this is something I got really surprised with people that are supposed not to have a professional experience working in teams and structure and everything. That's something that the first thing I saw in the team was this leadership of Mary and the organization they prepare. Apart from the idea and the development and everything, but if you don't have a great team and well organized, you cannot do really nothing.
So Marjorie, let me ask you. So, are you good at delegating?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that I can make things and give them to people and give them to the right people. Funnily enough, in the original plan, like I had a whole spreadsheet of how I wanted all of this to work out and within the program, and you only gave me 13 people. I wanted 20 originally. So I did revise my plan for you. But I think putting things down and writing them down and then giving them to people, I can do. And since I see the vision for my project, I know what I want to do, and it's all a matter of who can do it. And sometimes I ask who can do it, and some people step up to the plate, and when no one steps up to the plate, I give it to someone, and if they succeed, then they do.
That's a very good point. That there's a lot of people that, back to José-Maria's point, not only are they shy to ask questions, but they're shy to take accountability. To sign up, right? And it's only after you put them in that situation that they realize that they can do it.
Yeah, a lot of people, like 3 or 4 people in my group, they were like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm qualified enough to do this. And I kind of just sat down and said, look, I see that you have a vision. You're here in this program. You chose to be a part of this project, and I believe in you. So take my belief in you and make it your own. Do the thing. If it's not perfect, it doesn't have to be. You have 12 other people that will help you revise it and help make it better. Just start something and we'll help you. But we can't make anything out of nothing. And that got a lot of people to get off their butts, write something down, write a few things down, and then always just give more feedback. And I think an important part of having a group, of having relationships, of being alive is to communicate with people, to tell people, I can't do this. I can do this. This is too much. I don't know. I'm unsure. Because even though it makes you look weak or vulnerable, that's cool. You are. No shame. So get stronger. Find people and you'll be stronger. Find people that lift you up.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to find more people, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I want to talk about another subject here as we're slowly getting to the end of the program. You see my sign up here, right? Where is it? There.
Yes.
It says, "Good morning. Let the stress begin." Now we're representing 3 generations here. I'm 60. José-María is 39, just on the border of millennial, and you're 15. So let's start with you, Marjorie. What do you think about stress? You know, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
Well, I have a lot of it. So I'm very experienced in stress. But I think there are good stresses and bad stresses. Good stress is applying for a new job and not knowing if you're going to get it, starting a new project, working with new people. Bad stresses are you psyching yourself out and making yourself more stressed than you should be. Thinking, I studied so hard for this test. I studied for 8 hours last night, but I'm going to fail. I think I'm going to fail. That's not helping you. Some stress, awesome. You need it. We need, or at least I need, stress to motivate me to keep going, because without a kind of imbalance, then everything's just boring and flat. But with stress, it gives me knowledge that I'm doing something that's impacting at least me. And I think stress is really important, but sometimes you need to reevaluate what is stressing you and see if you should be stressing at all.
Good points. José-María?
Yeah, I completely agree with Mary. Stress is the uncertainty you have for an exam, for a job application, for a deliverable. It's something if you are looking for perfection, you are 100% that will be right. This is not the way. You can look for it, but for sure, things perfect doesn't exist. So you have to look for it, to play your best, and of course this little bit of stress, this little bit of uncertainty is good. I cannot live for a lifetime without having a little bit of stress, of adrenaline, of life at the end of the day. If you don't have that, it's a little bit boring, the life. So I need this bit of you can call it stress, you can call adrenaline, you can call just the uncertainty, but managing the stress, and of course you can get the exceed, you can get exceed by the stress. But as I am quite calm and I am not quite a nervous person, I need this point to be active and to be motivated.
So earlier we were talking, José-María, and you talked about uncertainty as something that accelerates everything.
Yeah.
And that you need to be able to read the environment and see opportunity in this situation. Talk to me more about that.
Hey, you can be if you are playing in a field that is standing still, everything is calm, and you are the one mobilizing everything and changing everything, that will be much difficult to change things. But everything has a good point. Uncertainty has a good point. The situation, because of the coronavirus, has also a good point. You have to look for it. And definitely things are moving, things are changing. You can notice, you can read the new trends. For instance, now there's a big trend in sustainability. So things are changing, and if you can learn to read this trend and to ride on the trends of your sector or new activities, you can take advantage of it and it's much easier to start a new project, to start a new activity, than in the situation that everything is standing still, everything is very fixed, structure, and now everything can fit. It's just to look for the right position and try to fit your idea with the environment.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I want to get into our next topic, which will be our final topic. And this is about Gen Zs. And that's why, Marjorie, I think I'd like your input in as much as possible here. Gen Zs, why do they think that we're, working against them? I mean, we talked about that a little bit earlier. What is this about that they think that, they're alone out there? What do you think the solution to this is?
So reasoning, it's always different for people. Everyone's their own person. Everyone has different reasons to exist. Everyone has a different purpose. But I think collectively, there's been a pressure to succeed all the time. And so to be the best, like I've heard a lot of people that are my age say this, to be on top, you can't actually be on top if someone helps you. You didn't do it. You had someone help you. And I think that's such a lie. It's so crazy to think that people think they can only succeed if they succeed by themselves. But I think also we create a lot of doubt. Uncertainty is good. We talk about uncertainty a lot. But in our current day and age, we're growing up with a lot of uncertain things. We've been afraid for at least most of our lives, like maybe from ages 1 to 3. Didn't really know anything about the world. But I feel like a lot of us have struggles that from a young age that we have never known how to deal with. And because of that, we decide to recluse, go back inside. And I don't exactly know, I'm not a psychologist. I am a 15-year-old who goes to high school on a normal day. But I'd say that a lot of us have been told that we shouldn't feel, period. We shouldn't express emotion. We should be straightforward and do this thing, and that's it. And a lot of us feel like we're being trained to be robots, and some people are. But I think the way that we combat this is show people that they can be their own person. And I think we're slowly doing that ourselves because no one else will do it for us. But I think having examples of people that struggle and are uncertain and go through life and then having success and achievement and praise is so important. It's so important to have young people succeed. And I hope to be someone that shows people like me that you can succeed and you can do things, because really anyone can do what I'm doing. I'm just doing it.
Do you think that we're not showing enough that we care?
I would say no. In my my day-to-day life and the people that I talk to, a lot of us feel like emotions aren't something on the table. People that are older than us don't really show emotions or vulnerability, and we see that as strong in leadership. So we try and partake in that too. And we see that even though we care, or you care, and other people care, it's hard when you're not actually showing it. You can think it, you can tell us, but we need the steps and action to actually know that we're cared for and we're appreciated.
So tell me, remember in our program, we had about 250 Gen Zs, including yourself, from the inner cities of the US and some other places around the world. I was also very touched at some of the reactions of people when we gave them, made them feel important or made them feel like their ideas were good or whatever, that it was almost like they were surprised that somebody cared. But how did you see the reactions during our Upkey IE University Venture Lab mini-series program?
That's a long name. What do you call it? I think a lot of us doubt ourselves. I was doubting myself when I wrote down my project idea. And I think it's because we're surrounded by the fact that we need to succeed, that we are so uncertain that we will, that we don't think we will. I guess, if that's not too complicated to dissect. We think so deeply within ourselves, and not a lot of people take us outside of ourselves. So when someone finally tells us, the thing you did is good, or I'm proud of you, like, I can speak from personal experience that brings a lot of us almost to tears, because we feel like we've only been expected to do great things, not appreciated to do great things. We're going above and beyond, but it only feels like we're being the average person, because that's how we've been told to be, more than average.
Okay. Nice. Very thoughtful, Marjorie. I think there's so much that my generation and José-Maria's generation, José-María, you want to come back? Need to do to make Gen Zs feel like we do care, because we do. This is the future, your generation. And I think the problem is that there's a problem here in the connection. We're like two ships missing each other in the dark. All right, so this brings us to an end of our program. And as you know, this is all about hacking uncertainty. And I think you guys have given us a lot of ideas on how to hack uncertainty, how to harness uncertainty. What I'd like you guys to do is think about it for 1 minute and give some parting advice to our viewers. José-María to millennials, Marjorie to Gen Zs. What's your parting advice for how we should be dealing with the uncertainty that we're having to deal with today through this COVID time? I mean, we're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's going to still be a ways away. And we will have changed as a people. It won't be back to normal. We will have a different normal. So what advice do you give them? You want to start, José-María?
I don't know if I'm the one. I know I'm a mentor in a university team, but giving advice is something that I just can express my experience, and that for my generation we have already lived half of our lives, or what is supposed to be the average life. And I think this is the point to stop and say and to think and make a reflection. If what you have been doing before is the same that you want to do for the rest of your life, that can be okay. Just keep going. Average, as you said, maybe it's not the best condition or the best situation for three of us, but maybe people is happy with feeling average. But I prefer to when I stop and think about the future, I want to make to create to shape my own future, and you cannot do that. You cannot do that otherwise. That keeping focus, as we discussed in the project, Mary. And okay, I want to go there. This is the things I want to do. This is the things I want to change, and trying to do your best. And at this point of your life, Generation C still have many years, but we don't have those many years. And the point we need and what we need to do is just to act. you can be thinking, reflecting. I have been thinking about changing, thinking about doing things for many years, but at some point you say, hey, right now is the act point. If you don't change, you don't act, you don't create and change things, you will not go ahead, or just keep going what you did. That can be perfectly right, but depends on your perception of uncertainty, depending on your perception of how you feel happy or you feel comfortable with a fixed and established environment, or you prefer to create your own uncertainty. If you create this, that can be an advantage in some scenarios, as we are now, that you don't create the uncertainty, but the uncertainty arrives in some cases. So you need to be prepared in this situation.
Okay, thank you, José-María. Marjorie.
Hello. Okay, so to whoever is in Gen Z and is watching this and is watching me talk currently, you need to know that you have a purpose and you're here and you're alive, and that's amazing. You can't expect everything of the world. You can't be an astronaut, a teacher, a firefighter, and a nurse all at the same time. You can only be one person. You can only do one thing at a time. So, take it slow. Make life yours, not anyone else's. Stop caring what other people expect of you. Stop caring who is watching, because no one is going to be in your life for as long as you'll be in your life. And while that's sad and everyone dies, that's also really important to know that you are the last person you have out of everyone. So take care of yourself and do things for you.
Okay, thank you. All right, everybody. Well, this is our first Hacking Uncertainty LinkedIn Live session. You'll be hearing a lot more from us next year. We're going to have, I think, one more before the end of the year. We'll let you know. But they will be periodic starting January, and we look forward to working with all of you, of our viewers here, and trying to explore, the limits to managing uncertainty. Because at the end of the day, the world is not going to get less uncertain in the future, and we need to be able to manage this. And I think both Marjorie and José-María are great examples of things that you can accomplish by managing uncertainty. So with that, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and I hope to see all of you soon.